Hi everybody, how y'all doing? I hope everybody's doing good and had a great Thanksgiving. We did. Of course, like every Thanksgiving, something happens around here. But, I was expecting something. I was looking and looking for it. But anyway, after we all ate, all the ladies came into the living room. We were just a talking, catching up, because some of them had to go home and they had a long drive. And the guys, well, they were sitting there yelling at the TV with the football on. So I tell them to go watch the football in the den, because there's TV in there too. They can just watch it in there and yell. Shut the door, we can't hear them. And so us ladies were just a talking. Well, everybody left except my cousin Annabelle. She stayed. And we were just a talking. She's a big gal, She's a little on the hefty side, and she was wearing spandex. Well, that's okay if you have a long shirt, That wouldn't look bad, but Annabelle had on spandex and a short shirt on. Well, it didn't look real good on her, she had tummy hanging out and stuff, and I'm going to have to talk to that girl about her clothes she wears, because it just don't make her look good. I hate for her to go out there and embarrass herself. But anyway, we were sitting in the living room talking, and she had her feet propped up on the table and just relaxing. Because that turkey, once you eat all that stuff, all you want to do is sit down and take a nap. Wow, there's something in that turkey that just makes you want to sleep. But anyway, we were sitting there just a talking. And as we were talking, I heard something. And I looked over at Annabelle and I said, "Did you hear something?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm sorry. I kind of broke wind a little bit." And I said, "Well, that's all right. Everybody's got a fart now and then." And I didn't smell nothing, so I thought we were all good. And Rufus was over there playing with Mr. Whisker, and he didn't smell nothing, or he'd say something, because Rufus, if anybody farts, he's saying something. He's got a lot to say. But anyway, Rufus is over there playing with the kitty cat, and evidently Annabelle broke wind, as she calls it. Well, I was looking over there, and there was this big old ball. Looked like a baseball, size of a baseball, on the side of her spandex. And it just rolled and kept going down her leg, and it was going down towards her foot. And I'm sitting there going, "Annabelle, you got something in your pants. What is it?" And anyway, about that time, it blew out. Hard. Her flip-flop went a-flying and hit Mr. Whisker so hard, it knocked him out. And then you really could smell it. That fart was bad. I said, "Annabelle." She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "You got to quit wearing them spandex." Anyway, so went over and checked on Mr. Whiskers, and Rufus was so mad. He picked up the fishing pole we got him from the Walmart, and he just ran in there and started hitting Annabelle in the head. Hitting her hard. She was hollering. Bubba came in to see what was going on and took the fishing pole away from Rufus. I said, "Well," he said, "what happened to the cat?" I said, "Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The Annabelle's flip-flop just flew off when she farted and hit that poor Mr. Whiskers." He went over there to check on Mr. Whiskers to see, if he was okay. Well, he was still breathing. So Bubba said he'll be all right. We'll see when he wakes up. And Bubba stood up, and he just looked at me with this funny look on his face. He said, "What is that? What is that smell?" I said, "I told you. Annabelle. She farted so hard, the fart went right down her leg, blew that flip-flop off, and hit Mr. Whiskers right in the head." And he said, "Well, you need to get something to keep spraying in here." I said, "I'm trying." And Annabelle over there about to cry, and she kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I said, "Annabelle, quit wearing them damn spandex. They're dangerous now. Did you see what happened?" Well, anyway, so we were sitting there, and I was trying to console Annabelle and telling her it's all right. I had fans going and everything, get that smell out of there. It was bad. And anyway, I said, it's all right. It'll clear out. And I was trying to calm her down. Anyway, my daughter came in to feed Mr. Feathers. Mr. Feathers is our parakeet. But she came in to feed Mr. Feathers. And she said, Mama. I said, what? Mr. Feathers, he's on the bottom of his cage. I think he's dead. I said, what? So I got up and went over there, and sure enough, Mr. Feathers was laying on the bottom of the cage. And I said, well, I wonder what happened. And then it hit me. Annabelle's fart was so bad, it killed Mr. Feathers. And she got so mad, she picked up the same dadgum fishing pole that Rufus had and started beating Annabelle over the head with it again. Well, here come Bubba again in the room, and he had something over his face, I guess because of the smell. I thought it was about gone. I guess maybe I just got used to it or something. But anyway, Bubba come in, took the fishing pole away from my daughter, and he said, what are you doing? And she said, well, Annabelle, she killed Mr. Feathers. And he said, what? How'd she do that? And I said, well, you should have seen that flip-flop flying. You got something over your face. You know how bad it smelled? It's like when you go in the mine. You know, them miners take the parakeet in there. And if the parakeet dies, they know there's gas in there and to get out. I guess I wasn't smart enough to get out. I didn't see the parakeet either, Mr. Feathers. I didn't see him. Wasn't paying attention. So anyway, he took my daughter and said, come on, come in here. And he was taking her in there, trying to make her feel better about Mr. Feathers. And I'm over here still talking to I said, Annabelle, you are too big to be wearing them spandex in a big old shirt. I said, you got to quit wearing them spandex because they're dangerous. I said, did you see just what happened? Your flip-flop went flying over there and knocked Mr. Whiskers out. She said, yeah. I said, well, they're so tight, it didn't have nowhere to go. It had to just come out your leg. I never seen a fart that strong in my life. She said, well, I'll quit wearing the spandex. And I said, well, I think that's a good idea. Of course, she was still rubbing her head because, I mean, she got the shit beat out of her. Well, I looked over there to see if Mr. Whiskers was okay, and he was starting to move around, so I think he'll be all right. Rufus was over there still petting him, and he was crying a little bit, but he'd stopped. And anyway, I went in there and I told Annabelle, I said, girl, you have got to quit wearing them spandex. She said, well, I'm going to now. I said, did you have any of Lulabelle's beans? She said, yeah, they're real good. She said, I had 3 or 4 helpings of it. And I said, I'm going to have to tell that Lulabelle quit bringing that bean soup. That bean soup is dangerous. I can't believe. I said, well, don't eat no more of Lulabelle's bean soup if you're wearing spandex. And you need to go home, throw all them away, okay? Just throw them all away and get you some jeans. She said, yeah, I think I will. So she left, and we had to go get Mr. Feathers and bury him in the backyard and, you know, have to say something, make my daughter feel better. And we did. We had a little ceremony for him, and she went in her room, shut the door, and she was a-crying. She didn't want nobody coming in, so I said, okay, we won't. I knew something was going to happen. It always does. Usually it involves a fight. Well, I guess it did this time too, because my kids just beat the shit out of Annabelle. She had little bitty knots on her head from the fishing pole, them beating her with the fishing pole. Oh, well. I wonder if anybody else out there has stuff that happens every time they have a Thanksgiving. Well, they're not coming for Christmas, so thank goodness. Oh, my God. I don't think I can handle that again. Well, I just wondered, is it just us? I wonder if something happens on Thanksgiving, you know, fighting or something somebody else's. I hope we're not alone in this. I feel really weird. Well, anyway, there's my story. I'm going to tell you about my Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I mean, all our food was really good. And it was really good up until Annabelle farted. And then, well, I guess shit happens. Okay, y'all. Well, I'll talk to you later. Hopefully I can go live. I'm having a little trouble with it, but I'm going to try to straighten it out. So hopefully I can go live tonight. Well, I'll see y'all or talk to y'all later. Bye-bye now.